Hi guys, it's Aunt B from Aunt B's Homestead. I'm here getting myself together. You may have seen the previous video or short video of me figuring out how to get this lace repaired, okay? I wanted to hop on really quickly or really quick to show you that I've done it. It's repaired. I'm no longer under pressure, although I was tangled in lace. You see that? When you have a hole in lace, okay? And if you want to see the hole, you have to go back to the previous video. Okay, that's not a hole. That's a part of the design. All right, let me scan over so that you can see it. Okay, got it? So there was a hole, and the hole was here. Lace, the thing about lace is you definitely have to mark your hole because everything looks the same when you're dealing with lace. Look at that. Where's the hole? Where's the hole? Where's the hole? Like, you have to find a hole over and over again unless you mark the hole. So there's ways you can do that. Let me see if I have a tool here that can help. All right, you can mark it with like white chalk. That'll help. Chalk. Let's see if I can take that out. Okay. Or you can mark the spot that you want to repair. Let me pull it in there. Even though I've repaired, I left the needle stuck in there so you can see. You can also mark the spot with a pen because if it's something dark like this, chances are the spot, if you mark it with a pen, you need something lighter, but if you put a dot, I find that if you put a dot, you'll probably be able to find it. But definitely use something that you can see, okay? Everyone has different visions, so use something that you can see. And then, yeah, just choose your thread. As you can see, there's different colors of thread. And it's up to the person. Like, if you're in dire need and you need to repair something that has a hole in it that's going to leave you exposed, of course, you're not going to be worried about thread color at that point. But if you are not in dire need and you just simply want to repair what's broken, take the time to match up the thread with your garment that you want to repair. This blue thread is not, the exact color of the lace, but the blue thread works, okay? That's why in my previous video I say any blue will do when I'm working on this. If it was light blue, perhaps it... Wait, where did the needle go? Okay, let me grab the needle again. If it was light blue, perhaps that would have been too much if you want to wear this in a stylish manner, okay? Because it might stand out like these other colors. See that? But this blue, as you can see, let me get closer. Can you see that? This blue is lighter than the blue in the fabric, but you could probably see it better here. See? They're different, but when I cut it, you see that? It looks darker. It looks darker. So this was perfect for me to use. It was perfect. So I chose blue. And let me show you how it looks. I use a loop stitch. There's several ways you can repair. Is that another hole? Oh my goodness, this has been snagged again. That's another hole. Hi, Lily. Thank you for being the first person to say hi. And let's see. Yep, that's another hole. So looks like the repairs. I am doing great. I'm just repairing a uh, a lace jacket. Well, it has partial lace. As you can see, this part is not lace. Lace jacket. This is just something that can be worn over a dress, a straight dress, or something. And it's informal, even though it has lace. I thought it worth repairing, and that's what I'm doing with this blue thread. And I was talking about the different ways you can repair this. Some people have footers on their machines, and I do. I have about 45 footers. So some people have footers on their machine that they can use to repair this lace, the holes in this lace. I chose to hand sew today. So I got my thread and I got my needle and I started doing loops, 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 loops. To draw this together in this manner, hold on, let me see if I can show you, okay? I really appreciate you being here. If you look back at the other videos and you like something on this page, go ahead and subscribe. We'll be glad to have you here. We love to talk. You see that? See, loop. But this is the underside, so let me hold it over so that you can see. Yeah, this is the underside, so it basically blends in well. What I'm going to do is go ahead and snip this. Okay, go ahead and snip it. And now I'm going to, first let me secure my needle. I really shouldn't be doing this because when you stick your needle in your thread, sometimes you can cause the fibers to be ruined. Okay, but let's go ahead now that I've done the wrong thing with my needle. Look at that. Look at that. But I don't want to get stuck, so that's a good plan B. All right, so let's see if you can find where the hole was. All right, I'm going to put this down like this. See? Well, there's another one. We'll fix that later after the video is over. But this to the left is actually where the hole was, the initial hole was, okay, or the one I initially found. But yeah, when I turn it over, you definitely won't be able to tell anything, even if I were to point it out. So let me turn this over. See, you won't be able to tell at all. So that's why I did use the loop stitch just to draw those the pattern together, because you have to find a solid part of the pattern. You can't start with a part that has thread unless you have the identical color. You see this? You don't want to start there. Let me see if I can use my scissors to point it out. Okay? You want to start on a solid piece like that. Okay? Because if you try to go through a hole, you're going to stretch one of those holes even further. So try to avoid going to a part of the design where there's just, a thread pattern. Go to a more solid part of your fabric or of the design so that you can really, mesh things together and bridge. Speaking of mesh, if you have another part of, like, for instance, if you could take a piece from another part of this fabric, you would be able to really mesh things together. You can put that piece in as if you would like a patch, like a patch. Okay? All right, so enough of that. Let me ask you, have you ever repaired lace before? Okay? And do you even think it's worth repairing lace? I do. I think it's worth repairing because when I don't use things to wear, I use them for other things. This could be a veil. This could be, let me see if I can see through it. Yep, you see that? You can see it through it. So this could be a veil. This could be a hair cover. This could turn into a bow. This could turn into a headband. So yeah, lace is worth repairing. All right, guys. Well, thank you for jumping on with me. As I said, I came on real quick to share some information with you because I was repairing this lace in a jacket that I find is worth wearing and worth saving because if for nothing, I could use it as extra fabric for another project. Well, as usual, I hope you have an amazing rest of the day. And thank you so much for visiting Aunt Bee's homestead. If you like something, go ahead and subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and then come back and see me again on a different video. Thank you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye for now.